Hello everyone and welcome to Super Mario Brothers on the Super Nintendo. I am One Wild Sheep and this is a remake of the original Super Mario Brothers game, which if you don't know, you've been living under a rock for the past God knows how many years. This is pretty much platforming at its finest, folks. This is my favourite version of what many consider to be one of the very first major big games to ever be released. And Super Mario Brothers is simply a simple everyday run and jump platform game where you can play as either Mario or Luigi and you move across throughout the world. I am currently playing as Luigi, number one, ho ho, because Luigi is the finest and everybody knows this. And basically, the way I'm playing as Luigi is I'm basically playing as player 2 and I'm cutting out all the player 1 segments. Because Luigi is the best, don't you know? I love Luigi. But yeah, this is one of those games that if you haven't played, you've missed out. This is a game that I consider that every single person who's into gaming needs to try at least once. I don't care whether you try the original version or this version, but you need to try Mario Brothers. And the reason I chose to do this version of the game as opposed to the original is two reasons. One, the graphics are so much better. I mean, look at this. The instrumentation, higher quality, and of course, it just runs better. The game is a lot more fluid on the Super Nintendo version as opposed to the original NES version. It has a lot more... There has a couple of bug fixes in the game. The collision detection is a lot better as well. Like there's a certain enemy type in this game that throws hammers at you, and in the original NES version, I swear to God, I don't get hit by the hammers, but I die anyway because it counts me as getting hit by the hammers. That issue is not around in this version of the game, folks. But yeah, obviously everyone knows Mario, everyone knows Luigi, two of the best gaming icons out there. This game is the ones that brought them to their fame. And of course, this is World 1, 2. There's 8 worlds in total in this game, each with 4 separate stages to each world, and that was horrible. Yeah. Give Luigi some slack. He hasn't done this in a long time. But basically, to start things off, there are power-ups you can pick up inside question mark boxes that you're meant to jump into, and something will pop out, usually it's a coin. And one of the big power-ups that can pop out is known as a mushroom. And these mushrooms will either give you a 1-up or they'll grow you in size. The red ones will grow you in size, and if you see a green one, you'll gain an extra 1-up. And if you go above the level by here, you'll be able to gain access to a hidden warp zone. You don't need to go to that, it's not really... I don't want to go to the warp zone because it'll skip levels, and I want to go and tackle every stage in the game legitimately. So yeah, you're going to see a full experience of this game, folks. Now this game is, I have edited out a hell of a lot of deaths in this game, by the way, folks. So if you see any inconsistencies in lives or power-ups or anything like that, that is why. And for the most part, this game controls really well. You use the Y or X buttons to run, or the A and B button to jump. And this here's a fire flower. When you pick it up, you can shoot fireballs by pressing the run button. The fireballs, well, they'll kill enemies, well, whoop-de-doo. And most enemies in this game can be killed simply by jumping on them. Coins can be picked up as well in the levels, either by breaking blocks or just by collecting them in the open fields, like by here. And basically, 100 coins exist. The coins basically exist to give you an extra life. Every time you get 100 coins, you gain an extra life, and it'll help you out overall. So if you see coins, go out of your way to pick them up. That's what I recommend. Anyway, we're heading on to the very first castle of the game, and that there is Bowser, King Koopa himself, the main antagonist of this game. And in the instruction book, technically, we're performing genocide right now, technically, because King Koopa, aka Bowser, used his magical powers, because he apparently has magic. I don't think this is ever touched on again. And he used the powers to transform the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom into blocks. Apparently. And of course we're destroying blocks, so we're not really saving anyone. But anyway, there we go. He's dead. But as you can see, that turned into a Goomba, which is one of the many enemies of the Mario universe. So that wasn't actually the real Bowser. That was an imposter, and we need to go all the way up and find the real one. And there's the timeless line, but our princess is in another castle. I hate that line. It's haunted my dreams. But anyway, World 2, here we go. And as you see, I think I died a good couple of times on this stage, actually, shamefully to admit. Like I said, I'm really not that good at Mario Brothers 1. And if you're not good at Mario Brothers, don't hold down the run button. I mean, a lot of people would say hold down the run button constantly in Mario Brothers will do better. Do not do this. Hold down the run button when you need to make a long jump, because you gain more momentum and you'll be able to jump higher as well for some reason. But if you hold down the run button, you go much faster. It'll be a lot harder to make your jumps. So be very careful. I've made the mistake of holding down the run button way too much before, and it's killed me on many an occasion. But yeah, let's just continue moving onwards. Those pipes, the plants coming out of the pipes, are known as piranha plants. And basically, whenever you're not near the pipe, they'll start coming up and down periodically. Whenever you touch them, you get hurt or die. So what you want to do is basically you need to time your jump so you go on the pipe when they're not on. Whenever you're on top of the pipes, the piranha plants, they will never come out. So you're not in danger of actually getting hit by the piranha plants while you're on top, thankfully. And certain pipes in the game you can actually go down by pressing the down button. But anyway, there's World 2-1 complete. Fantastic level. And what level is next, folks? What is the next fantastic stage that is on the agenda? Well, it is... a water level. A water level. Great. A water level. Why? I don't like water levels. But anyway, water levels. To control the knees, you basically push the jump button and you'll swim up. Press the jump button repeatedly and you keep swimming. Now these things by here, these pink things, are called bloopers, or blue burrs as they're meant to be called. And as you can see, they are a menace to your life. What these things will do, they will start flying in a zigzag motion. Whenever you're looking at them, they are meant to swim away from you. And whenever you're looking away from them, they're meant to go towards you. But sometimes it just flat out doesn't work and they're extremely random enemies. I do not like them. However, when you are small Luigi or Mario and you don't have the super mushroom, there's actually a way to not get touched by them at all, and that's simply by walking on the seabed floor. If you're on the seabed floor, these guys will just swim above you harmlessly because they can't physically go that low. Although you need to be very careful dealing with these guys, and the water levels are mainly just a gigantic puzzle of how to traverse. You need to figure out, okay, I need to figure out how to get around this blooper. Oh no, the blooper's in my way, what do? I'll stare at it until it goes. I will scare it with my powers of Luigi, number 1. But for the most part, the stage isn't that hard, but it has haunted my childhood for many years, and I can't get that bloody jingle out of my head from basically the underwater jingle just sticks to your head and I can't get rid of it. But there's World 2 complete. And this is going to be a pretty short LP, folks, so it's only 2 parts in length. And I'm planning on releasing this midway through the Rayman 2 LP, just, to give you guys a break from Rayman, so there's that. Anyway, cheeps! This is what I like to call one of the speedrunning levels. There are pretty much 1 or 2 distinct levels in this game where I say it is safe to just go full throttle, and this is one of them. What you want to do is basically hold the run button and go to the right of the screen as quick as physically possible, and don't worry about the fish popping out of the sea. These fish are known as cheeps, by the way. If you jump on the fish, you'll die, but if they hit you in an awkward position, you're gonna get hurt. And you basically need to try and dodge all of them while reaching the end. It looks harder than it is. Trust me, it is a really easy stage. It's probably one of the few stages I can get through quite without any trouble, without getting hit. So there's that. Anyway, World 2-3, well no, World 2-4 now. We're going to take on Bowser for the second time. And we're going to see him multiple times. And as time goes on, Bowser himself is actually going to become a bit more troublesome. He's going to get harder and harder as the game goes on. So we just need to watch out for these fire bars that are actually attached to the walls. They go in a clockwise motion nearly... Actually, counterclockwise motion, not clockwise. Nearly all the time, so just watch out for them. Anyway, just time your jumps by here. The fire can be really easy to get hit by, so be very careful. And you know when you're coming to an end of a castle whenever you have fire getting spurted at you. And this is the alternate way to kill Bowser. If you don't have a fire flower, you can just jump or run underneath him, or jump over him, and hit the axe, which will cut the bridge, sending him into the fiery death pit below. And I hate you, Toad. Go die in a fire. But Luigi! No, Toad. Just no. Okay, now this is World 3-1, and as you can tell, it's got a snowy aesthetic. And for the most part, in the original NES version, most of these levels looked practically identical to each other. The only difference was mainly a colour scheme difference, if there was one. So, to be honest, the original NES version, most of the levels look identical. There's not much going on in each of these stages. And as you probably noticed, at the end of every level, there is a flagpole. Now, whenever you go to a flagpole, you're going to want to try and reach the top of the flagpole, which will gain you the most amount of points you can possibly get. This is a very point-based game, to be honest, folks. It really developed with the points in mind. You don't need to go for a run with as many points as possible, but you can if you want. But yeah, at the end of the flagpole, at the end of the stage is a flagpole, reach the top for most points, and I tried to do a one-up cheat by here where you can, if you boop the Koopa shells enough, you can gain a one-up. It's very difficult to do. But you might have also noticed fireworks occasionally going off whenever we reach the end of a stage, and that's because if we reach the flagpole with the timer on ending in 1, 3, or 6, you will actually gain fireworks corresponding to those numbers, and each of those fireworks will give you a couple of points each as well. I think it's 500 points per firework. Could be wrong with that. So let's just move on. Now, there are only 2 power-ups in this entire game, however, folks. There is only... Well, okay, there's 3 power-ups. I forgot about this. This thing by here is the invincibility star. Whenever you grab this, you become invincible. You can plow through enemies and make way for Luigi. Luigi's gonna destroy you all. Yes, this is just how it's meant to be. Screw Mario. Where is Mario anyway? He's probably off, drinking tequila and such. He is quite the drunk, my brother. But anyway, where was I? I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, the invincibility star, you can plow through enemies. In later games, they upgraded the invincibility star, so if you plow through a certain number of enemies, you'll gain a 1-up. It's not present in the original Super Mario Bros. Or I don't think it's in Super Mario Bros. 2 either, but Super Mario Bros. 3 it might be in. Don't quote me on this, I'm not entirely sure. I always forget which game they introduced it. I know it's in Super Mario World for a fact, but there's that. And that's only because Super Mario World is my favourite Mario game. But I'll talk about that at a later time, because it's a long while until I'm planning on... Well, not a long while, but I do plan on tackling that quite a while away from now. Anyway, it's time to move on. Here's World 3 Castle. Now, like I said, there's only 8 worlds, so this is a very, very short game, folks. I used to think it was a really long game, but that's probably because there is no save feature in the original version, and... Even though I grew up with this version, I was abysmal at it, so I never finished it when I was younger anyway. It's only in the modern day I get the ability to finish these games. And one of the interesting things about the original version of this game is, whenever you're playing as Luigi as opposed to Mario, you still look exactly the same as Mario whenever you have the fire flower, due to graphic limitations. In this version of the game, you don't have those graphic limitations, so Luigi always looks different from Mario, and I like that. Plus, Luigi's better. And I could have sworn I almost faced through that fireball before it killed me, my god. Those fireballs are like your worst nightmare in most of these castles, because they'll just pop up and down. Sometimes they'll wait a second before a second fireball will come up. Sometimes the second fireball will come up instantly afterwards, and they're pretty random, they're really hard to judge. And be careful of these fireball bars by here in particular. This final set of fireball bars here with the coins, the rings. Dear God, too much Sonic. You're going to want to try and run and jump over, because I can't see any good timing to get through that one otherwise. There we go. Here's Koopa, King Koopa himself, Lord Bowser. Let's go and teach him a lesson once and for all. And there we go, that's the end of this part, folks, so hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, don't be sheepish people, and when we return next time, we will finish off Super Mario Bros. For the Super Nintendo. Oh yes, it's Luigi's time to shine after all.